Welcome to the Gyrl podcast. I'm Kyra Mitchell-Lewis, and thank you all for joining. Hope everyone is doing well out there. I hope your week is going fabulous. So, we are talking about video content today. I know everybody is making a video. There's so much video content out there, but it is also, it's great for a lot of things, right? I love TikTok, so I am always there I'm there for the funny videos, but there's also a lot of videos that inform and educate as well. And so I say that because that is the perfect setup to what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk about how you can use video content as a way to drive potential customers through your purchase funnel. And it won't just be me telling you about it. I have a wonderful guest, Suzanne Glover, who is a professional actress and sales pro, and she has been at it for more than 35 years. And what Suzanne does is she helps her clients to strategically leverage video in that customer journey, as well, to grow their business and get sales, but also just getting in front of the camera and, taking that leap of faith and putting yourself out there also helps to enhance you personally by helping you to have more confidence. So, I know a lot of us like to do it. A lot of us are like, I don't think so. But I think once you hear from Suzanne and some of her tips today, I think it will help you to at least take a baby step if you're not using video content to tell stories today. So stay tuned, everyone. I'll be right back with Suzanne. Welcome back to the Gyrl podcast. I'm Kyra. Thank you all for joining. So now I am back. I am so excited. I'm back with Suzanne, and we are about to dive into a really important topic here. So welcome, Suzanne, to the Gyrl podcast.
Thank you, Kyra. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes. All right. So before you tell us all the tips we need to be successful and comfortable on camera, let's talk about you. Tell everyone out there who you are and what you do.
Who am I? Who's Suzanne? That's like a 10-year saga. Actually, I'm in my 60s, so it goes back 40 years. So, okay, well, I'll just say I've been an actress and a salesperson. And what I did back in the 80s was I started as an actress. And I can relate to what the people are feeling these days, because when I talked on camera the very first time, I was a model. And then in order to continue my career, I had to start on camera, just like people today. In order to continue going, they have to be on camera now. And I froze. The first time I had my first commercial and I looked up and I just went, and I remember the director just, what did I hire? And the crew was kind of looking at each other like, oh. But it was my very first time where I dug down deep and I said, okay, I need to figure this out, and I need to figure it out like right now. So I said, let's go. And we did it again, and they were all happy, and we did it again and they were happy. And they went on to be an award-winning commercial. So each time over 35 years, I figure out something to do in front of this camera that gets attention. And I wasn't a Hollywood actress. It's not like I was out there doing all these famous films. It was like a working actor that has to beg in front of the camera to get work.
Well,
you get good at it.
Well, and it's the very thing that you're going to help us understand is, how do you influence? Because every time, like you said, when you're a working actor, you have to be able to influence all the people watching you so that the next time you get another job.
Exactly. And even back in the 80s, 90s, okay, so I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but they had VHS tapes that were, okay. So it was that when we were in auditions, the producers, the decision makers, they weren't in the audition. It'd just be a camera person guiding us on what to do. And then the tapes would go to the directors and producers, and they'd sit around and watch them on fast forward. And if you caught their attention, they would stop and listen to you for a millisecond and then move on, because there would be hundreds of people going out for the same job. And I got a lot of attention. I did. It was really good. But what it was the preamble to what's happening today, where people are
Yes.
scrolling through feeds. You've got
Yes.
to catch their attention. You've got to make
Yes.
that connection. You've got to get that connection. You got to make it now and keep it.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
there are tricks to it. So, and I've also been a salesperson. I've
Mhm.
integrated the two skills, and I did training for a Screen Actors Guild. I had my own school. So I've been doing this a long time.
Mhm.
And I've had clients get films. I've given them like networking opportunities, and I've taught my people how to market themselves way back in
Mhm.
the 80s when you used to cold call and get work, and
Ah,
how to present themselves not just on camera to
mhm.
influence, but also to package themselves, to market themselves. And I'm still doing that today.
Awesome. I love it. So I would like to start with talking about the importance of being able to influence on the camera.
Okay, it's because they're not in the room with you. And when
Yes.
they're in the room with you, whether you're teaching, you're selling a product, my specialty is selling and influencing, but you got to remember, if you're a teacher, what's the end result? You want them to take action. So you're selling them a concept. So whether you're a teacher, a marketer, a salesperson, a coach, somebody who wants them to take action, you
Mhm.
want to be able to influence. Okay, so you need to influence. And the world's not going to go back to being in person. But when
Right.
they aren't, it's just like, this is so easy. We're getting all spoiled.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
we are. But we have to remember, when you're in the room with each other, people
Mhm.
can't leave, you know, they can't
Right.
leave. So when you're on the camera, people can click away immediately. All right.
Mhm.
So I really want people to take this seriously and understand that it's a medium that has its own rules. And in the industry, I realized this a couple of weeks ago. I thought, in the industry, you had to really get training to play in the game. You had
Mhm.
to be invited into auditions. You had to get an agent to have credibility. It was a dog eat dog kind of a place.
Mhm.
It is. It still is. And you had to get good training. You can't get training from a makeup artist or somebody who's done extra work. And extra work is when somebody, here's how to spot, here's a tip. When someone who doesn't look like a leading man or a leading woman, and they brag about being in, oh yeah, I've been in 20 films, extra. You don't brag about being an extra. That's not something you put on your resume, okay? You hide that, and you don't do that kind of work if you want to get serious, okay?
Mhm.
Um, so you get really good training in the industry, and you get it from multiple places. But in the outside world, people are flipping on their phone, they're talking, and just like they are in
Mhm.
person. And you
Mhm.
see that doesn't work. And here's why. I'll give you a story. I signed up for some online software, and
Mhm.
I talked to the guy on the phone before I did. Owner was just really in person, like on the phone. He was
Mhm.
great. Signed up. He did an onboarding webinar live when I got on there. He was so offensive.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he didn't know how to handle a medium.
Mhm.
Mouth noises. He was down here in the dark. Those are typical, but there's even more subconscious things that were going
Mhm.
on. And I thought, I can't watch this. So I canceled.
Yeah.
So that's what I see happening to people. And I'll give you
Mhm.
another example. I was actually approached on LinkedIn. Somebody marketed me, and what he
Mhm.
was trying to sell me was corporate sustainability. I guess
Mhm.
that's a big deal in the corporate world, where
Mhm. Mhm.
you have to be sustainable if you're a company.
Right.
I didn't qualify. I'm not a
Mhm.
company, like a brick and
Right.
mortar
Yeah.
1,000 employee thing. If if he had had a video in front of our phone call, he would have figured out that I wasn't qualified to get on that phone.
Mhm.
So that's number one, that he could have not wasted his time. But number two, here's the deal. In person, he's like all over branding.
Mhm.
He's corporate. Branding's important. How you show up is important. Your
Mhm.
office is important. And even on his website, he had professional camera actors doing 2 videos, and they were good.
Mhm.
But you know what happened when he showed up on Zoom? He looked like a hobo.
Oh my goodness. You were like, do you want to show up for your own business? Like, yeah.
So
Wow.
my question that I just posted, I think yesterday, I think it was LinkedIn. How are you showing up? Is all your branding offline disappearing
Mm-hmm.
online when you're showing up? How are you
Right.
showing up? Are you being consistent with your brand?
Right.
And
Right.
so it's important to be able to influence because you need to understand the medium. They aren't in the same room with you. They can click away. And if you're not going to grab their attention, like right now, and keep them
Mm-hmm.
engaged, and in order to do that, you need to get good on camera. Not, in the industry, we didn't even talk about camera anxiety. That was not a
Mm-hmm.
phrase that we talked about, but how it came out was in bad acting. We didn't talk about it, but it came
Mm-hmm.
out as bad acting. So when I fixed the bad acting, there wasn't any camera anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you know what somebody said? I'll say this and then I'll stop. Yesterday or the day before, someone asked me, what's the main bottom line that happens when you work with someone? And I thought, well, what is it? And I thought, it's because when they learn to do this, like camera anxiety, they're really focused on
Mm-hmm.
that. They're focused on insecurities, like all these things come up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when they learn how to do this the right way, all that stuff disappears and they get a deeper self-love and self-respect for themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
how that comes out is I have like one gal, she said, I can look people in the eye and feel really good about myself.
Oh.
I had
Mm-hmm.
another client say, I said, so, you've been around here for a while and what's happening for you? And she's like, well, she kind of stammered around. She goes, you make me feel pretty. And I
Oh.
thought, it's not me, babe. It's how you feel because
Mm-hmm.
you're loving yourself more. And then
Right.
others like will say, hey, I'm getting work and I'm just so excited because I'm making money. It's just like those,
Mm-hmm.
it comes out in different ways,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it's the bottom line that when you overcome these things, you start loving and respecting yourself on a deeper level.
Right. Yes, I love that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, the adding video and incorporating that into like the sort of daily marketing, because there are a lot of, like you said, a lot of coaches out there, a lot of people who are thinking, I'd like to do this, but I mean, I'm busy, but at the same time, they know they need to be showing up.
Yeah.
What would you suggest as a way to get started?
Okay, let's talk three things.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you want to diagnose first where you are. Are you consistent with your brand offline? How are you using video? Where do you want to take it? And most importantly, who are you talking to? Do you
Mm-hmm.
know who you're talking to? Because a lot of times people, I'll say, so who's your target? Everyone?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, they're not. It's not everyone.
And I mean, that may seem like it's okay in person. You're kind of throwing out a wide net. And for you marketers out there, yes, you do throw out a wide net to see who
Mm-hmm.
responds to your ads. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then you want to learn the language so that
Yeah,
when you're on video, you really are talking to the person and using their language. Like
exactly.
I had a positive thinking site and I was doing podcasts and I never would have used the term personal development junkie. I never would have used that. But that's what my audience, as soon as I started using that, people would just like click. So I was using their words.
Mm-hmm.
And when I use their words, I mean, this is an old, I learned this in copywriting probably a decade ago. You want to use their words. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to use their words, you got to know who you're talking to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
got to figure out where you are with video. Are you using it? How are you using it? Who you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to? Are you using their language?
Mm-hmm.
That's just a preamble of a little bit of that. There's more to it, but you want to find out where you are, where you want to go. So how do you want to use it? Do you want to be showing a product?
Mm-hmm.
Are you exampling a product or sampling a product? Are you trying to build trust? You
Mm-hmm.
want to have an objective for every video you do it instead of just flipping on the camera and just talking and wasting time because we are busy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, see the concept, I want to change people's paradigm about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't want to do video because I got to do a live and then this thing happens and then I'm wasting time and I really don't want to do it, and they kind of talk themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead of doing that, figure out how do I want to do it? How
Yeah.
am I using it? What's the best way to serve both my clients?
Mm-hmm.
And start assessing where you are with it. Get sort
Yeah.
of cerebral about it, okay? So that's the first thing.
Mhm.
The second thing is you want to have an offer that's scalable because we're busy. And if
Mhm.
you start putting video into your marketing and you have videos on autopilot playing for you
Mhm.
and you have ads running to it, you're
Mhm.
not going to be able to coach one-on-one. You're
Mhm.
not going to be able to take strategy calls one-on-one,
Mhm.
when you go to scale. Now,
Right.
does that mean you can't have strategy calls? Yes, you can. You just have to get a team or you have
Mhm.
to work a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you're using video good, like for example, I'm right now in the middle of changing my strategy funnel, my strategy call funnel.
Mhm.
Because and I'll give you an example. I'll use this as an example so you can see what I'm
Okay.
talking about. So when you're doing a strategy call session, you really want to pre-qualify people because we are busy.
Mhm.
We want to make sure that they're the right people.
Mhm.
So you want to have a video at the very beginning to qualify and kick people out. Hey, you say in the
Mhm.
video, this is right for you and this is wrong for you,
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
you're not wasting time on the phone. So that's one thing of way to use video. But then you also have them do a survey before they
Mhm.
get on. So say they make it past the video, then they get into the survey and you ask them really pointed questions and say, okay, this is right for you if, and do you have this? And if
Mhm.
they say yes, they keep moving on. And the reason I'm moving to a different
Mhm.
platform is because, okay, all right, I'm a marketer. I love doing all this tech stuff, even though I hate
Mhm.
doing it. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm a techie. I used to have 8 computers. It's kind of ridiculous.
Mhm.
And so there's in the computer world, there's something called logic, where if you give an answer,
Mhm.
it segments them.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I asked and asked and asked and asked about that for my old system. No, we don't have that. This new system has it. So
Mhm.
now I can segment people. If they answer something they don't qualify, I can. So this all saves time before I even get on the
Mhm.
phone with them, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's why
Yep.
I'm implementing this, because I'm going to start driving some ads to it.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I don't want to get overwhelmed. I want to sit by
Mhm.
my infinity pool I'm building. And by the time it's done, I should have this done. Okay. So the other way, you have to have an offer that's, so you either need to qualify or you have to have an offer that's scalable. And that means once I start getting overwhelmed with too many strategy calls in this new system, then you want to bring in a team. Even if it's just one or two people to screen them before they get to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you still want to be in the mix and you're the one, you should have some pre-qualifying people in front of them. So you
Mhm.
video, survey, people. So you
Mhm.
should have a scalable system, and then delivering it, of course, in group. So
Mhm.
number one, you want to see where you are. Number two, you want to see where you want to go with it in terms of how am I going to serve it? So how am I going to market it? How am I
Mhm.
assessing marketing it? Where am I? How am I talking? There's the marketing part. And then there's a serving part. How can I scale it?
Mhm.
But before you get to all of that, I mean, after you kind of figure that out, then you want to figure out, number three, a strategy
Mhm.
to implement it.
Yeah.
And I know that seems really logical and like, oh, duh, Suzanne, of course. But so many people just pick up the phone. I had a client that when she came to me, she says, oh, Suzanne, I've done 600 videos in the last 5 years.
Mhm.
Wow. And nothing happening. She was so burned out. We
Mhm.
had one session, and I, through osmosis of just being on this thing forever, I told her something that I didn't even realize I told her. She implemented it the next video and she made a sale
Mhm.
because she was not looking at it the right way. She was looking at pick up the phone, get on live, make friends, and don't
Mhm.
make money. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm too busy for that. I don't have time for that.
Mhm.
And I don't want to do that because there are a lot of creepy guys out there. I don't want to. Okay, that goes back to being stalked as a model when I was like 18 years old. Okay, so I'm real careful about how I use video,
Mhm.
real strategic about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you do too, particularly if you're a woman out there on the internet
Mhm.
these days,
Yeah. Yes.
So
I love that. I love these 3 steps because I think a lot of people in this world today, everyone thinks that you are just supposed to hop on live and just start talking, about whatever. I'm sorry, but I'm just not quite that interested in most people's that, like, oh,
I'm
just
busy.
going to going for a walk. And it's like, I mean, okay. And I feel the same way that you feel because I'm a marketer in my day life. So when I had someone, when I was, when I'm posting and things on for Glow Up Girl, I had someone say, oh, well, you need to start letting people into your life. You need to start, like, why don't you do like a day in the life video and you do these things? I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't know what that actually gets me, but also I don't feel like I'm that important that somebody cares about what I'm doing when I get up first thing in the morning. And, she's like, or you could, like, when you're walking your dog, you could take, go live. And I said, well, when I walk my dog, like, that's my quiet time. And that's like my time to get myself prepared for the day. And so I, like you, am more of the mindset of you're thinking about strategically, how can I use this video content? Because I don't have all day to be shooting videos anyway.
Exactly.
And so when you, and I certainly do agree with you. I think, like, if you're going to spend the time making one, it needs to have a way to either let people pre-qualify themselves or say it's not for me, or to say there's an offer here that they can look, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna, take that next step. And I think, like, it's become sort of frivolous in our usage of, like, video. Yes. And it's just like, yes. Overindulging and yes. Like, and I'm like, I can't. And so I was the type of person that rebelled because I was just like, I don't have time. Like, I have a full-time job and I don't have time to be stopping and going live and seeing what people, are doing. And I said, it's just like, no, thank you. Like, that's not for everyone. And I'm sorry, but I don't choose to use the platform that way. I mean, like, it's just not for me.
I agree. And, in the direct marketing world, I used to do direct marketing because I had a supplement, an anti-aging supplement that I had branded and sold through the newspaper. And so I got some names, of guys that were in the industry. You want to know, they're making there's some icons out there in the direct selling industry that are making, supposedly are making millions of dollars, right? Which I believe because some of these people are just icons. They've been around forever. You cannot find them on social media.
Yeah.
They're doing direct selling. So I'm more of a person that wants to use video strategically in a direct sales manner. And there's one thing I should mention too, like you said, where they are, the customer journey. So you get it takes a lot of touches sometimes. I don't mean that sexually. I mean, like,
Yes. Yes. You got, oh my God, like, you're speaking my language. I just was having this conversation with somebody today. I was like, you got to show up a lot of times before people even remember you. Like, exactly. I said that's marketing.
Exactly. And yes, you can do email, but what if you did email with a video that's already automated and you're making these, that's the other thing, that's this new platform that I'm going to. It's like, okay, so there's a whole pre-made back follow-up that makes all these little touches for me. And all I have to do is start putting some videos and some things in. I'm thinking, yes, all this automation can work for us. You see, and just like, I want to touch on one other thing you said, when you said somebody with, when I went like this, I said, you said it's overdone. I feel like they're cannibalizing and prostituting my industry is what I shouldn't say that out loud, but I do, because I feel like it's just taking the quality down. So what I'm trying to do is say, hey, you know what? Here's your chance to stand out above all the noise out there, because they're just flipping on their phone and doing live and getting stalkers. I mean, every time I do something on Facebook, not every time, but a lot of times I get these, I don't know what, my friend requests, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't know you, and you don't even have a profile with a picture. Why are you saying hello to me?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, I agree. I think it's just really important for people to understand their customer
who their target audience is. And what you mentioned is what I live for daily in my job, is understand that customer journey.
Absolutely.
And figuring out where the best place is to meet them. I mean, because it is almost like, I love a persona and I love building a good persona. I mean, it is, I understand how to reach them, because I tell people all the time, like, social media is cool and it's fun to be on, but I don't think you should expect that your sales are going to come from social media.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got, people, every now and again, you see something on social media that you're like, oh yeah, I'll buy that, but it's not often that, you're making like those big decisions to, if you've got a higher price point item, you're probably not going to buy it off Instagram. I mean,
exactly. A $7 book or a makeup like mascara, sure.
Yeah, but you're probably not going to you're probably not going to sign up for coaching or something of that, nature, that's an investment in for you for development. Just by seeing something, you're going to it's going to keep showing up. It's going to be, it's going to be the Google Pixel tracking you. It's going to be,
stalking.
Yes, everywhere you go, you're going to be saying, oh, wow, that person again talking about how they can help me take this to the next level. And then you're going to go to their site, chances, and try to and learn more about them and who they are and what they've done. So I think there's just this approach of just marketing.
Yes. And you can use video to walk them through the customer journey, because there's different phases of it. There's the introduction, there's the discovery, there's the, and then there's the close. I mean, I have 7 steps, and then there's the close. You get them warmed up enough and knowing enough and educated enough. And that takes time and energy. And back in the 80s, when I would cold call, the world in the modeling and acting world, they weren't cold calling. There wasn't competitive, like everyone's on LinkedIn now. You get all this scam and spam stuff. The whole world has turned into these spammy marketers. So it's really tough now. So you just really, in order to keep up, you really need to be able to use video to walk people through step 1, step 2, step 3. Use it strategically.
It's something these days, I tell you.
It is.
So people, oftentimes, when people are thinking about doing videos, and maybe they are going to try and use them, on social or to influence, on their sites. Do they need a big following to make money?
You must have read my book. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually one of the things I cover, is because people say, do I need a big tribe? No. So I'm going to give you, I'll just give you something out of my book.
Okay.
There are 3 types of influencers that I call them. Then this is me. This is my own thing. There's 3 kinds. One is a Zoom influencer. I call them a person who shows up on Zoom and they're selling on Zoom. Who can that be? Real estate. They have a high-end product. They're meeting online, making relationships, doing business. But they're not selling a course. They don't have a funnel. It's just low tag Zoom influencer. Could they make a lot of money without a big tribe? Yeah. If they have a good marketing team. My personal realtor has a real estate agent. She has a very good marketing team because she's with a huge organization. But they have, half a dozen people in there pushing their stuff out all the time.
Right.
And if you think about it, when you're buying a house, yes, my real estate agent has had repeat business from us, but it's taken 50 years. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So she doesn't need a large people, but some people come and go and they move around. So you don't need, so a Zoom influencer does not need necessarily a large following because they're selling high ticket items and their clientele comes and goes.
Right. Okay.
Then the second one is, what is it? It's a tech influencer. I call it a tech influencer, meaning they're using funnels.
Okay.
And a funnel, like I said, a direct marketing approach, that's me. I'm a direct marketing approach. I don't like the social media thing as much. So you run some ads to a funnel, you walk them through the customer journey in the funnel. If they don't buy in the funnel, I call them shake the coins out of them funnels. So, but that's how they sell. And so if they don't buy, you get them into a marketing back end sequence.
Yeah.
And you just keep walking them through the journey. And that's why I say it's a techfluencer, because you're leveraging the technology to keep following up, following up, following up. Do you need a big tribe for that? Depends how your conversions are.
Right.
Not necessarily. And if you're selling a high ticket item, not necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
If you're trying to get a strategy call out of people and you have a high ticket, then you probably don't need a whole lot of people. If you're selling a $5 PDF, then yeah,
you're gonna need a lot of people.
a lot. And they're not going to even probably open it or read it.
Yeah.
But then there's the starfluencer. The third time is what I call the starfluencer. And that's the person that does, like you talked about, where they're the YouTuber, the big influencer online that has a tribe of millions. And they're selling affiliate programs for, you know, they get a $10 commission here, a $5 commission there, and they have to make money with large numbers that way. So it depends on what you want to be. Where do you fit in there?
Right.
Some people fit a little bit of all of them, but most people don't want to fit into that. I find most people don't want to be the starfluencer because it's so much work. Depends. That's, you know, that's just average.
Well, you're always on. And yeah, like the starfluencer, it's always on. You have to create a lot of content. And you're always like working. I mean, you're always working because it may be lower price point items. Whereas, like you said, the Zoom and the techfluencers, they probably have higher ticket items and you may need 5 people.
Right. But the starfluencer could have a higher ticket and they may have a team.
Oh, true.
But the average starter starfluencer.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
If you think about starting, think about the other two. Unless you're really at 20 years old and you just want to go for it you know, and you got a lot of energy. I'm in my 60s, so I don't want to do that.
You're like, I don't want to be a starfluencer. No, thank you.
I don't.
You're like, I'm out here converting these MQLs to SQLs. Turn those leads into sales leads, huh?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I love that. So what about anybody that's out here that's listening to us, watching, and they're like, okay, this is all a lot of great information. What do either one of two things? How do I start? Or 2, how do I start with Suzanne? Okay, well, maybe I want her to guide me. So, can you talk about your programs and then maybe tell people who may be just sort of assessing and thinking about what they want to do, how they can get started?
Okay. All right. First off, no matter if you want to work with me or anybody else, you want to assess where you are. So that's where you start. And that was the first thing I talked about, just assessing where you are. And I did have a diagnostic call. It may still be on my website. There's no obligation, but it may still be on my website, where you have a diagnostic call where I walk you through 7 steps. And that's not anything to do with me. It's just that you need to assess yourself where you are, no matter what you do. If you do want to start with me, I do have that on my website, but I have my book that you can it's a real easy, get to know me. It is targeting and speaking to women who are a little older, but you men, if you want to learn my 7-step formula, men have gotten the book too. And if you want to know what your female partner is going through when she's kind of screaming and going crazy, you'll understand you'll get in her mindset, because it really talks about how women start feeling invisible and aging and how we deal with that. And it's not just for a 60-plus-year-old or a 50-year-old. I was on a podcast with, I think she was 35 or something. And I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, okay, I'm 60 years old and I'm 60 plus, and I'm looking at her thinking, wow, she's beautiful. She's looking at the 20-year-olds thinking, wow, she's past it. And I thought, okay, that's just like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So no, I think it seems to be a subject that no matter where we are in the spectrum of aging, we
Mhm.
women are having these feelings of starting to become invisible, starting to lose confidence because we're aging. So my book is Be a Video Influencer, Reinvent Your Life and Your Business as a Midlife Movie Star.
Mhm.
And the reason that I call it a midlife movie star is going back to getting that self-love and that self-respect.
Mhm.
When you learn it the right way, you get this really self-love, self-respect deep, deep down, and you really do feel like the celebrity of your life.
Mhm.
And I'll leave you with this one story and I'll tell you where to get the book. The story is Sally. She was a midlife in her 50s. She was a dental office manager. She hit her 50s and she went to bed for 2 years because she didn't see midlife coming. She didn't see that catastrophe heading her way.
Mhm.
She ate TV dinners for 2 years, stayed in bed. Her doctor said she should have been dead, and
Wow.
because of her test results. So
Mhm.
she, we started working together, and within, I don't know, it was a few months. I don't remember how long it was. I took her to an acting convention where
Mhm.
she pulled out her violin. She hadn't played in that in years. She hadn't played that in years. She had never done comedy routine.
Mhm.
And yet she went and performed in front of hundreds of people at an acting
Oh,
competition.
awesome.
She got second place.
Uh-huh.
And she's the one that said, I can look at people in the eye and feel really good about myself. So that's why I say midlife movie star when you learn it the right way. And my book is you can get it for free, SuzanneGlover.com, SUZANNE, Glover, GLOVER.com/free book, FREEBOOK.
Awesome.
SuzanneGlover.com/free book.
And we'll drop that in the show notes so
Okay.
you can click to
That's my
it
gift to
right here.
that's nobody knows about that unless I'm on a podcast or I want to give that away to somebody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that because that
You're
is
welcome.
very true. Very true statement. I think people we do live in a time of comparison where people are always comparing themselves to other people, and it is
Absolutely.
just really important that we pull out the unique qualities that make us who we are
Absolutely.
and focus on
And
that.
this is an avenue that you can do since we're forced into it anyway. Why not flip it into making yourself feel great about yourself too, while you're at it?
Exactly. All right. I love that. Okay. So if someone wants to contact you, should they reach out to you at your website?
I got a lot of spam on my website, so LinkedIn, but you can go to my website, the
Okay.
contact form on my website
Okay.
sends you to my LinkedIn profile and you can message me there or
Awesome.
yeah, LinkedIn or Facebook. I am on Facebook, but LinkedIn is the best way.
Okay.
And there is a secret form on my site on the speakers page. There's still a secret contact form that the spammers have just found. And I thought I'm gonna have to change that too, but I haven't yet. So if you go on the speakers page, the speaking, ask Suzanne to speak. There's a contact form on there.
Okay, awesome. She says the spammers. All right, so before I let you go, I'm gonna take two more things, two more
Okay.
segments. We're gonna do three things with Suzanne now. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. People are just gonna get to know you a little bit better. How do you start the day?
Cuddled with my cat.
Love
And
it.
I cuddle with my cat, and a lot of times I'll just lay there and talk out loud to myself and God and just kind of work out. It's like an out loud meditation
Mm-hmm.
prayer where I'm working out things in my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
my mother said in a letter decades ago to her mother, she said, "Oh, there's Susie. She's in her crib. She's talking to herself. Okay, she's getting up. She's waking up from her nap. Oh no, she's got to talk to herself for a while." I still do that.
Oh, I
But
love
it
that.
gives me clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I'll say, okay, what did you do right yesterday? And build myself up.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset.
I love it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, what do you do on a day off?
Oh, well, today is my day off. Actually, I'm doing this, but I just said to my husband, I was thinking about going to the ocean, or I'm thinking I'm going to do my sauna, cold plunge, swim,
Mm-hmm.
nap. On my days off, I really, 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 really just try to do nothing. It's really hard.
Yes.
It's really hard. But the ocean
Yeah,
calls me,
I love
naps
it.
call me, and water calls me. And when I get that infinity pool, boy, it's going to be in there, because my pool now is not an infinity pool, it's a little bucket.
But the infinity pool is coming.
It is. They're
Yes.
breaking the ground on Monday.
Nice. I love that. All right. And last, how do you end the day?
Oh, what did I do right? What did I do right? What did I do right today? And
Mhm.
just lay there. I journal a lot before I go to bed, take a nice hot shower, and then I lay there and I just have a lot of meditation, talking, building
Mhm.
myself up, because we all need that. And
Yeah.
I want to keep my brain positive. So I always say, I count 20 things. What did you do right? And if it was a day off, what did I do right? I got out of bed and enjoyed myself today. What did you do right? I brushed my teeth, instead
Yeah.
of not.
Right. Yes.
Because that sets our brain up to look for the positive.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that a lot. All right. And so before you leave us, I'd just like to have you touch on 3 key things from our discussion today that you would like the audience to take away.
Okay. Assess where you are. That's number 1 with video.
Yeah.
Assess where you are, meaning where are you now? How are you using it? Really look at, are you using it strategically? Yes, no. That's a yes or no answer.
Exactly.
If it's yes, then what can you do better? And if it's no, what can you do better?
Either way, you're going to get better.
Yeah, if you put your mind to it. Okay,
Yes.
so that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I hope that you enjoyed our humor and that our vulnerability of saying, stalking, and take that to heart, that you should be careful out there on the internet. And that's not to be a worrywart or anything. It's just that if you're a young woman out there, I used to say this to my students, the young students in the modeling school. I'd say, if they want you to take your clothes off, walk away, So now I'm just saying, really be careful what you do with video, because in my experience, I get people approaching me and I don't know, I thoroughly check out who they are before I connect. Just be careful. And the third thing is, have fun with video, take it seriously, but have fun, and just think about, how do I show up offline? Am I doing the same thing online? Or am I credible? I attended an event a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said to me, wow, you come across so credible, like you know what you're doing. I go, I do. I'm kidding. It's because of how I show up. So how are you showing up? Are you taking it seriously enough? And that's
Right.
not part of the assessment. I'm saying, what's your desire? Where do you want to go? This is more about desire. The first assessment is, where are you, like reality? The second thing is, just be careful about how you use it, because you're a woman. But the third thing is, what do you want? When I'll leave you with this. I have my infinity pool where I want it, because my house is on a hill, and it goes whoosh. I mean, it goes down, man. And everybody wanted to put the pool out in back, where there's this little flat spot. I said, I don't want the pool in the back. So there's one pool contractor. He said, what do you want? I said, I want the pool there off the living room. I said, but nobody will build it. He goes, shh, what do you want? And he kept going, shh, what do you want? And it calmed down that voice. So I just encourage people to say, shh, what do you want? And get real quiet and say, what do you want? And now, because of that, I'm getting an infinity pool right exactly where I want it.
That's right.
And it's fabulous.
Because you knew what she knew what she wanted.
I knew what I wanted, and I had somebody bring it out of me and just say, shh, what do you want? Don't listen to everybody else. What do you want? And that, I think, all the noise online, people telling you what you should do, this, you should do that. Shh, what do you want? What do you want?
Awesome. Love it. Thank you. Great tips. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne, for spending time with me today and
Thank you
sharing.
for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Yes. Well, everyone, stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Glow Up Girl podcast. I'm Kyra. Thanks again to Suzanne for joining us today and providing some great strategies to help us all feel more comfortable on camera, creating videos and sharing our businesses and ourselves with the world. And also great ways on how you can weave video into your everyday business strategies. If you want to learn more about Suzanne or work with her, you can reach out to her on her website at SuzanneGlover.com. If you'd like to learn more about Glow Up Girl, visit us at glowupgirl.com and you can check out past podcast episodes. You can sign up to join me on the show, grab our social links, and so much more. Thank you all for joining me today. I so appreciate you spending a little time with me and my guests on the show today, and I will see you all next week. So until then, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.